In this video I'm going to elaborate a little bit on the previous video. I've gotten a good email here with a couple of questions and I'm going to answer them the best I can. First of all, we're going to just make it clear that letting go is shadow work, just like any other shadow work. And if you remember the story I told in the previous video with Johnny and his friends creating a game just like this one, well, obviously we aren't as free as Johnny as his friends. We have been believing things. We have already racked up quite a bit of unbeneficial programming. And letting go or doing the pillar spin or cleansing it away in any other method is work. It's not just roses and sunshine. It can be challenging and it can be a lot of work. So they're asking what signs and symptoms are encountered during this stage. Well, if I want to let go of something, it's because it's already there. It is a belief I have, something I've given into, and I believe it or give into it because I think it's somewhat real. And this is when you need to be a little careful with what type of work you choose to do in this game. Careful with what you choose to accomplish. If you want to deal with all sorts of misunderstandings you have had about all sorts of things in the entire world, then you obviously have a lot of shadow work to do, and it can be overwhelming. You really need to focus on the things that are important to you right now, the things that hold most value. And what you can do if there are things that you want to figure out, but you realize that they aren't so important, is to simply not care about it. Not now, at least. You can scoot it away and focus on what is most important to you right now. Happiness, for example. And let's face it, there are many things to understand in this game. You can have complete clarity about everything. But you know, it's a process. It really is. If you could achieve something so great in 1 year, I mean, that would blow my mind. But can you focus on the things that are essential? Your happiness, your centeredness, your ability to not care about all sorts of things. Pick out the things that are important and essential for your frequency, and whatever kinda isn't, you simply just sweep away. And you know that you can figure it out later. Personally, that's not what I did. I just went all in on all sorts of things. I wanted to understand everything all at once. And I've been working day and night for the past 8 years. I completed inner alchemy very early on and gained a much greater ability to get answers. But still, the amount of work I've had to do to understand what I understand today is very difficult to describe. I'm talking day and night. It's the only thing I've been doing. And this phase of the game right now isn't necessarily the best time to do that type of thing. The wisest choice right now would be to forget about the things that you don't understand, but you kind of would like to understand them, and focus on the things that you really want. I'm going to mention another part of the journey that you need to keep in mind. It's a real fun one. If you want to deal with something, let's say you want to let go of something and grow, there might be some growing pains. You might get tired, feel a little worn out. You might be in need of more rest. And that's totally fine. Make it work. Go and rest if you need to. Essentially play the game how you need to play it for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. You would maybe like to think that letting go of something is completely easy and suddenly you're feeling great. But it might not work like that all the time. You are making a big change in your frequency. There is a lot of programming that has to go. So invest in the things that will pay off, the things that really matter. You don't need to understand everything about the script right now. Down the line, maybe you find that interesting, but there are things that really matter now. And that would be to be happy, I bet. To know who you are, to know where you are, to recognize your powers, and to enjoy life. And of course, there are many cool and relevant things that pops up and that are relevant for you to understand now. But you really need a good guidance to understand what things simply aren't. And trust me, there is a lot of cool powers you can have in this game. And many of them naturally comes with a good source-self connection, with a good level of neutrality, but still they really aren't very useful in the end of the day. You might be messing around with it for a while, and then you realize that it doesn't do you much good. And I'm talking about all sorts of things. Reading people's minds, understanding their intention, their reason for their behavior. It goes on and on. You can understand the whole body, all sorts of healing. You can understand the script, why it is like that, what is going to happen. It goes on and on. But you see, these things aren't giving you happiness. They aren't making you whole and complete. And you will see that amongst all the things you could let go of in a day, you have the type of things that are directly in between you and your happiness. And then you have the type of things that are in between you and your lack of clarity about something that might not be important. So of course, when it comes to your happiness, to your centeredness, to your recognition of your power, you really should let go of the things that are coming in the way and actually increase your happiness, your power. But when it comes to the things in between you and things that you simply don't have clarity about, but you would like to have clarity about it, you would benefit the most from letting go of all the urge you have to figure it out. It could be a waste of time if you compare it to working on your happiness instead. So you need to play your game wisely, like that from now on. This isn't a good time to do what I did. This isn't a good time to work with all sorts of things. And you can win the game for yourself without clarity about all the things in the world. It is about you and your happiness and your recognition of your power. And if you have any ego, which we have talked about before, it's just uncenteredness, the ego isn't its own thing, then you can simply let go of that also. Let's call it the ego then, and it is essentially any type of uncentered behavior. Uncentered mindsets, whether or not they are taking you up or taking you down, let go of the ego. Don't let it come in the way, and keep your mind active about unbeneficial ideas in regards to your empowerment and your happiness. Yeah, I think I made the message pretty clear there. Maybe you should watch it again. Maybe you got it on first try. If you have any other questions, you can send me an email, and I will answer it the best I can. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you. Thank you so much for your support.